we're discussing housing, the housing gap and the role of mortgage. Well, there's a conversation we've been having, but you know, how much of it have we been able to cover with a deficit of, I believe, about 18 million, double digits, obviously, 18 million households left as a deficit. Obviously, there's something that has to be done about it. Yes, so let's discuss with a member of the Governing Council of the Institute of Mortgage Brokers and Lenders of Nigeria, Dr. Bernard Mohammed Doro. Dr. Doro, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we've been talking about housing deficit for how long? Nigeria needs to build an average of 550,000 to 700,000. These are numbers that we've been hearing every year. And of course, we believe that there's hope coming from mortgage. But then this week, I had an earlier conversation how the purchasing power of Nigerians won't even allow them to access the mortgage. So you are a mortgage broker. You are the Governing Council of an institute, a mortgage institute. How do we solve this problem, really, in reality?
Right. So, sorry, I missed you there because there was a problem with the connection. But the Institute of Mortgage Brokers and Lenders of Nigeria obviously was it's an act of the National Assembly which was established in 2022. And it is meant for regulatory and also ensuring that there is professionalism and excellence in a mortgage practice. So, how in solving the housing problems in Nigeria, I think in a way by professionalizing the industry, both the mortgage and real estate industry, and ensuring that professionals who work in these sectors are actually regulated and are actually certified and trained properly. That will help us to then be able to establish, ethical practitioners that will help in ensuring that Nigerians have access to mortgages so that they can own a home for themselves.
So you don't think it's the issue of the purchasing power, perhaps the requirements are too high for an average Nigerian?
Yes, that is arguable that, yes, the purchasing power is at issue here. But what we're saying is that there are several incentives from governments that could help Nigerians to be able to access mortgages. And also Nigeria, if the sector is well regulated, and then working in sync with government, and I'm very sure that that can be achieved. And that is where the Institute of Mortgage Brokers and Lenders of Nigeria come into play. And the institute do not only regulate the mortgage sector, it also regulates the real estate sector. So working in sync with these two different sectors can then be able to help us access more mortgages in Nigeria while lowering the cost of housing overall.
But some people have said, perhaps, if we really want a low-cost housing or low-cost houses, we should look at the raw materials, the building materials. How much of it do we get locally? How much of it can we innovatively get locally and cut out the import bill, that has been increasing that cost?
Yeah, it's important. Obviously, anything that, when you look at the value of the dollar vis-a-vis the exchange rate to the naira, obviously importation of raw materials will cause us a challenge. But again, Nigeria as a people, we have this flair for foreign goods and what have you. But we have a massive local alternatives, and the raw materials that we have here for housing is quite good and is available. And if we can utilize that opportunity to then begin to look inwards and begin to use the raw materials that we have here, definitely it will reduce the cost of building houses and ultimately reduce the cost that people incur when they want to access housing. So accessing low raw materials locally will give a greater number of Nigerians an opportunity to own their own houses, and mortgages can help, and also the real estate also developers and what have you can help in that regards to ensure that housing is available. And like we say at the Institute of Mortgage Brokers and Lenders of Nigeria, that housing is a human right issue. And so there needs to be a collaboration between the private sector and government to be able to ensure that Nigerians have access to housing.
So is it possible for your institute to work maybe perhaps with some developers to intentionally channel the desire or the demand of locally produced raw materials into the development of buildings so that we can come up with at least affordable houses?
Yes, of course, we do have a free market economy, as we're all aware. But the role of the institute also is to train and to certify personnel or professionals that will work within this sector. And so through that, we have designed modules that will incorporate how developers can be equipped in their sourcing of raw materials, how they can be equipped in looking for low-cost alternatives in developing housing, and also to ensure that the sharp practices that are prevalent within the industry is checkmated. And once we do this, and I'm sure that we're able to streamline the housing sector and ensure that it is cheap and affordable unto people. So, and if you look at the housing sector generally, be it the mortgage or the real estate, sector, you will agree with me that it has huge potential to impact on our country's GDP. And as a result, developing this properly will help us. And it's also an area where there are lots of issues around money laundering and all of those stuff, which then contribute to making the cost of housing very, very expensive, because people find it very easy to just channel illicit funds through that. And so the competition in the market can be so fierce. As a result of this, it can increase costs. So the IMBLN is there to ensure that the sector is sanitized and professionalized, and so that we can work in sync with government to ensure that Nigerians have access to housing. And like I said earlier on, this is a human right issue, and so it must be taken seriously.
Yeah, well, that's a topic you brought up there. That's talking about the illicit fund, and using the real estate and all of that. That obviously has been on a lot of lips, but I think a lot hasn't been done towards it. So when you say you're trying to clean the industry or the sector, the real estate sector, from being used for money laundering and all of that, how are you doing that? And what agencies are you working with?
Yes, obviously, the Act empowers the institute, IMBLN, to obviously work with relevant agencies. So we have been talking with the EFCC and working on a MOU to be able to achieve this. We're also talking with ICPC. We are talking with the police. we're working with the practitioners themselves and trying to bring everyone into the firm so that we can all join hands. So obviously, working with the ICPC, EFCC, and the police, we can then be able to synergize and ensure that the sector is cleansed of the use of illicit funds, and also, through the housing sector. I mean, statistics are there to back that up, and we see that it's a huge problem in money laundering and also terrorism financing. So I'm sure the collaborations that we are doing currently with these relevant agencies will help us to sanitize this industry. And once we do that, I'm very sure that has a direct link with the entire sector, and will be able to bring the sector into compliance, and also such that we can build affordable houses, and that's the point I keep emphasizing, because a large percentage of Nigeria have access to housing, and that should not be the case. We have the potential, we have the resources to be able to build cheaply for our countrymen, and that is what the institute is focused on doing, and working with our partner agencies and relevant departments and the federal government. We can be able to achieve that.
All right, sir. Thank you so much. We certainly wish you the best, because, as you said, housing should be, basic rights of Nigerians. A member of the Governing Council, Institute of Mortgage Brokers and Lenders of Nigeria, Dr. Bernard Doro, thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me.